Hi. Okay, so your first question. Spuff is an essential part of friendship games. What does Spuff mean to you, and why is it so important that US Sports and Rec emphasize this throughout FG season?
Could you please repeat the question?
Yes, I can. So, Spuff is an essential part of friendship games. What does Spuff mean to you, and why is it so important that US Sports and Rec emphasize this throughout FG season?
Well, through my understanding as a first year in this year's online friendship B games, when I first was introduced to Spuff, spirit, pride, unity, and friendship, that's something that I really feel that embodies what it means to be Filipinx. Um, throughout sorry, throughout my year in Samoan, I've witnessed and been a part of so many welcoming people and so many people that have so much pride in who they are. And I feel that Spuffs is that gateway for us to be able to be essentially be so prideful of who we are as Filipinx Americans. And I feel that's such an integral part of friendship games where we learn and celebrate about what it means to be Filipinx. And I feel that that aspect of Spuffs is so integral to why we go to friendship games in the first place.
Okay, and your second question is, for the past few years, Samahan has consistently placed in the top 10 at friendship games. How do you plan on keeping that reputation and potentially even reaching a higher place?
First and foremost, I want to make it clear I recognize that I have zero experience whatsoever in an actual in-person friendship games. However, that does not mean that that I will not be prepared for hosting an in-person friendship games. Should that be the case, or even if it's online? What as during as I said in my speech, Spirit Week of this year's Friendship E Games was a very humbling and exciting opportunity for me to be able to see how it actually is to be Filipinx American in regards to maintaining and even uplifting our I would say our performance in friendship games. I plan on reaching out to upperclassmen above me and fellow e-board members who actually been to the games in person, and I would use their guidance in assisting me on organizing practices and making sure that everything goes to a way so that I'm able to um, I'm able to help new participants and encourage the participants to partake in friendship games. And I intend on working alongside so many people to get that to happen.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Isa. Now we will have another person from Elections Committee go ahead and ask you 2 questions from the audience.
Hello. So your first audience question is, since schools are transitioning to primarily in person and the FG dates are still tentative, how would you plan on transitioning if FG becomes somewhat in person, especially with only experienced such events online?
Like I said, I understand that I have zero experience whatsoever. Fully transparent about it. I've never experienced actual in-person friendship games. However, I plan on reaching out to those above me who have actually experienced friendship games, and I would use their guidance and advice to help me become well versed in how and what friendship games is supposed to look like. And I plan on reaching out to those people and finding a way to organize practices. And I understand that it's very tentative with the condition of COVID-19 right now. However, that will not prevent me from finding the best way possible to sufficiently organize friendship games so that it can be representative how it was before this whole pandemic happened.
Okay, thank you. So your second audience question is, Sports and Rec is responsible for other events rather than just FG. How do you plan to implement your role of handling recreational activities in other events? And how do you plan on working with your fellow officers regarding these events?
All right. Could you please repeat that question one more time?
So Sports and Rec is responsible for other events rather than just FG. How do you plan to implement your role of handling recreational activities in other events? And how do you plan on working with your fellow officers regarding these events?
As I said in my speech, I feel that member communication is a very excellent way for me to be able to reach out to members and understand what kind of sports and recreational activities they want me to create that's representative of what they want. I understand that spring semester tends to not have as many people participate in events in Saman. However, I feel that being enthusiastic about it year long and advertising and publicizing about these events ahead of time. For instance, for intramurals, I plan on letting members know about it even as far back as November, so that they know that that's going to be happening and that they should expect me to be coming out and encouraging to join. In regards to how would I work with my fellow e-board members, I was in the ABLE program, I was the summer apprentice for sports and rec for 3 of the 4 phases, and within those phases, I've witnessed and observed the current sports and rec in the various committees that she's a part of. And I plan on utilizing such committees, even if they may be small, no matter how big they are, because I feel that teamwork and being able to delegate specific tasks to other e-board members will help me efficiently organize these events. Because I feel that while I could, and while I understand that I may be able to handle every single task at once as my own position, I feel that it's better for not just me, but for every e-board member that we're a team, we're executive board. And I feel that being able to communicate with each other and asking people to do certain tasks, whether through publicity or outreach or just getting sure that everyone answers like these surveys to make sure I know what kind of events they want. I feel like that's a very important aspect of what it means to be an e-board. So that's my question.